ape and apricot. Garbage. Remember that?
What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night, and it's not Valentine's Day no more. So we're back. The Wild Wild West Show. We are live. We are in your face, and we are here to talk to you and have a threesome now with a little pussy.
Here you go, man. Oh, look at that, man. That's great.
So Ray West of Spread Eagle, my good bro, is next to me. My cat Sam and myself, we are here. We got some things to discuss. We got some stories. We got we're just gonna lay it on the line tonight. And tonight's episode is "Living on a Prayer." Gives you a little tease into what we're going to be discussing. But me and Ray were actually just having a very interesting conversation before we went live. He just came off a weekend of shows and back to the grind.
Yeah, man, it never ends. It's like that's why I didn't get a break from doing shows to doing my regular life routine. It's crazy. Shows are part of my regular life routine. I guess what I'm saying is there's no day to just chill and just like stare at the walls or watch TV and sit around in my underwear eating fudgesicles and sounds good. Wasn't gonna do this.
It sounds delightful to me.
Ooh, fudgesicles in my drawers. Yeah.
Sign me up for
It was a
that.
good weekend. It was a good week. It was a lot of travel because we had the gig on Saturday, but just to make it happen, I flew up so we could rehearse Thursday, Friday, and then play. We have to rehearse before we play, or else we all feel like it's just weird. I wish we could just be like those guys that just all got in the box and you're like, let's go, but we like to be a little more connected. So it's a good thing to I like rehearsing with the fellas. So it's just makes it so much easier.
That like blows me away when you like all these bands that just get together and they don't even rehearse or nothing, and it's just like they pop up and all right, we're doing the show and no rehearsals. We do sound check, run through a couple songs, and that's it.
But usually shows, you could tell because it's I keep saying this. Why should anyone go see a rock band just to go play fucking song after song after song? Anybody can do that. That's why it's good to get together
Yeah.
and rehearse what a show should be because I want to be entertained. I got the guys playing. I'm just a cheerleader, so I want to I want to be entertained. I don't want to see a band just schlep up there, play some tunes, and that's it. I want to be entertained. Are you not entertained? I want to be entertained. So I think you need to get together just to kick the tires, you know,
Mhm.
and connect. It's you could say the whole thing. Well, yeah, we connect on stage, but it's more than that. There's a lot that goes to it. There's like hanging out at rehearsal. There's talking shit. There's eating together and stealing each other's French fries and all that, man. It's all part of it.
It's all that
I
bonding
like
time.
yeah, I like hanging with the guys. It's not like I don't. It's different, I guess.
Well, I mean, a big part truly of being a band is that camaraderie, that brotherhood, that or if there's girls in the band, that sisterhood. There's that. I mean, it's a family.
Yeah, and exactly. So we're constantly in communication. If we're not, in the same state, we're still texting each other, having video conferences. We're just, it's constant. It's like it's a needy sense to be together all the time or to connect, which I like.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't do that, and I get it. But this is different. I really connect with my brothers, and I can say that. People, it sounds so corny when guys say that my brothers, man, you're my brother, but it's legit. It's legit.
yeah, yeah. So where were the shows at this past weekend?
We actually just played Saturday. We just
The
did
one,
the one in
It was in
Pennsylvania, New
Jersey,
Jersey. Yeah.
right?
So, and, I just it was on a Saturday, so there was no Friday shows. We rehearsed on the Friday. I think we hung out, had dinner, and all kinds of stuff, and just a chance to be together. But I wish we had more. I would like to have it so we had, so many shows in a row, take a few days off and do that. But now we have a little bit more time off to get ready for next month. So now's my downtime.
Yeah, because now you guys don't have shows till what? It's mid-April.
Beginning of April, first week of April, first weekend in April.
Okay.
But then it's like it's a lot of work that goes on still. There's like still prepping for things and organizing all that stuff. And even I'm gonna do recording with my my own project this month, so I'll dedicate
Oh,
time to
nice.
that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, actually, that's a topic I want to get into um, in a little bit about new music. That an interesting topic came up, and we've never discussed it yet. So I want to get your spin on it and your feelings on it. But I'm going to start with the number one story, what the show was named after, "Living on a Prayer." Um, it seems like it's coming to fruition for all the Bon Jovi fans out there. There's been rumors circulating the last few months. I actually was told an inside tip about 3 months ago that it was basically a done deal. But now the man himself is coming out and saying that it's pretty close and it's going to happen. And that's Richie Sambora. It looks like he's going to be back with John Bon Jovi and in the Bon Jovi fold for a tour.
Oh, good for them, man. Good for them because those, they were like yin and yang for a while. They were like, they were like
Yeah.
that. So, um, yeah, it's amazing. Some bands can never do that. Some bands can't like mend the bullshit. Some guys are
Mm.
just too prideful, and there's a lot of ego involved with a lot of that shit too. But those guys, like, they did the Dead or Alive together. You see the cool videos; they're always together, and
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. I wish I was a big. I wish I could say that I'm a huge Bon Jovi fan. Um, I don't listen to really much Bon Jovi. I know Bad Medicine, all the '80s stuff, Living on a Prayer and all that. But I remember I saw Bon Jovi back in the day when they opened for the Scorpions
Oh, shit.
when they were promoting the single. That's I can't even do that. That's what I know Bon Jovi like that, and the '80s,
Wow.
the commercial
Okay.
stuff. But I never got into like. I wasn't a heavy Bon Jovi guy.
Yeah, it's funny. Like those first two Bon Jovi albums were like my personal favorites, and then when Slippery When Wet came out, you saw you instantly. It was like wow, like you can just tell it was like so.
Yeah.
Like the growth was just so huge.
What was the first thing? Was it Bad Medicine?
No, well, for Slippery When Wet was You Give Love a Bad Name.
Okay. So when that came out, you instantly were like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
that's great production. That sounds
yeah,
big. That's some new shit, that no one's really ever heard before." So I thought that was really cool. I
yeah,
dug that. Then it got a little more slick, and then I was like, okay, but it's still Bon Jovi. It's
yeah,
fucking John Bon Jovi, man. He's a very successful fucking rock and roll motherfucker.
yeah.
And I think he went to Don Lawrence as a vocal student too. I'm not sure. People have given
Oh,
John Bon
okay.
Jovi a hard time lately about a lot of his vocal performances too.
Uh,
There was
I'm
we
glad
talked
you
about
brought
that.
this up.
We
I'm
talked
glad
about
you
that.
brought this up.
The reason, and I'll go on a little bit because I watched in COVID 2020. I watched iHeartRadio. I don't know why I watched it. I fucking hate
Okay.
that shit. But there was nothing to do. I was inside, and the reason I watched it was someone said, "Have you seen John Bon Jovi
Mm.
lately?" And they, so like anybody else, I was like, "Oh man, well, what is it?" And he was singing completely from his, like, just from his diet. Like, I just heard him pushing notes, but he wasn't connecting. It was weird. First of all, the iHeartRadio thing sucked because there was no live audience, and there was a screen, like that big old Zoom screen.
Okay, yeah,
Oh
during
my
okay.
god, I was like, "What is this shit?" Which took me back to a whole nother thing I used to talk about, which was I hate streaming live shows with no audience. I think that's the stupidest fucking thing. If you're doing
Mm.
acoustic stuff, cool. It's kind of intimate, cool. But to act like there's an audience in front of you is probably uh, the
I
gayest thing ever, man.
I gotta write this down because I gotta ask a follow-up question to this after Bon
And
Bon
so
Jovi.
then you watch the Bon Jovi one, and they're all like in this kind of a large studio setting with these huge walls of cameras around them. With I guess people like sitting in their houses going like they're all doing like stupid. And I thought he was having a hard time. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I saw a few other videos like it. I'm like, oh well, I've had a hard time singing live gigs, so it could be anything, you know. It's like all of a sudden people see that, oh, the guy's on a decline. He fucking sucks now. He just doesn't have it anymore. But they don't know
It
it could be a bad streak of some shit.
it's been I mean every show that he did last year. I don't think they've done any this year so far, but every show last year was bad. Like
I'm
really
telling I think there was
bad.
something. Yeah, I think there's something going on where he was just like trying to use the technique to power through the songs, but there must be some sense of self-awareness somewhere has to show up You can't just keep doing that over and over, collecting the cash.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to be like, okay, well, play me a video. You know, because I'm the same way. I don't want to. I don't like to watch myself. I don't get it. I don't like it. So, other people dig it. That's cool, but I don't like to watch myself or hear myself. We talked about that too. But I imagine
Yeah.
at some point, if you're having a streak of bad shows and you hear it enough from bad people, just like I did last year too, you're gonna be like, all right, well, let me fucking see it. Let me just take the medicine. And you take the medicine and you throw up from it, and then you get better. So maybe Bon Jovi's on a, you know, on the come up again and got his shit together again, whatever. But it was painful to watch.
Yeah, very painful to watch.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you this: like, do you think like somebody actually goes to John and says, "Yo, John, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Because you don't sound good."
Sure, he doesn't come across as like some ego fuck and be like, oh, I don't want
No,
to know
not at
anything.
all.
You know, I'm sure somebody, you know, like I said, there's a lot of money involved here, man. So when you got
Yeah.
shows set up and you don't want to cancel, the worst thing a band can do is cancel a show.
Mm.
And if you're touring clubs, even venues like that, because they're not going to trust you. So if you're on the big leagues and you got this, you know, yeah, maybe
They want freaking stadiums.
yeah, they got insurance for it and stuff. But once you get that stigma of someone who cancels shows for whatever reason, it stays with you. You know, Guns N' Roses had that issue years back. You know, it's like
Yeah.
people were like, wow, there must be something really crazy going on. You know, they would be late or canceling gigs, whatever. But yeah,
But
Bon Jovi,
Bon
Bon Jovi.
but they're kind of, and since you brought them up, they announced today a world tour for 2023,
There you go,
and
big one.
but they're kind of in the same boat because they're Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi both doing stadiums. The band sounds amazing, but the singer,
I think, you know, this okay. It's here. Someone like Axl Rose who has such a fucking presence,
yeah,
right? People want to see him up there.
yeah.
The thing about Axl, he seems to be Axl's still pulling off notes. You know, like
Okay.
Axl's still good. To me, he's still good. You
Really?
know?
Okay.
I think he's very good. He moves around a lot. I know
Yeah.
I know the job a little bit. I don't know that level of it, but I know that you run around a lot. It's difficult, and he seems like a high energy dude on stage. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's you got to run around, you got to perform. It's the fine line between performing and singing spot on for people.
Hmm.
You know, it's a little bit. It's got to give on both ends. Of course, if you give too much, people feel a little cheated.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh man, he doesn't give a fuck about singing. But I mean, it seems like the kind of dude that will get his shit together for a tour. You know, if you're announcing, you know, a world tour, there's a lot of money involved. So people putting their faith in you.
Yeah.
And so you got to deliver, man. So I'm sure. I get the feeling that Guns N' Roses tour is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great.
You see, we got a couple comments here. We got my buddy Hub. Desmond Child added disco to Bon Jovi.
He certainly fucking did.
You know, and Kiss.
They hibernate in some house with an acoustic guitar. The three of them sit down. You think they're going to come up with some great. But Desmond Child, he did what MTV did to everybody. He likes to be this watering down effect, like this Desmond Child melodic kind of way of writing, and he kind of owned MTV, and like everybody was writing with Desmond Child.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like MTV when MTV'd everybody.
Right.
You know, it's like to be on MTV, you got to write a cool ballad. You got to write a quirky, funny, colorful video. It's got to be something people want to watch. You can't just stand there. It was the MTV and rock and roll was fucking fucked up what it did to rock and roll. Video killed the radio store. The first fucking single on MTV.
On MTV, yeah.
The Buggles, right? Whatever. And it's a song that spoke the future. Who knew?
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Video
Crazy.
killed the radio record company business. But yeah, he's right, man. He did that disco.
And Tony, what's up, Tony? Fahrenheit is a great album. 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit is an amazing album. Yeah.
Everybody has their something. I'm not gonna tell you, like, you know what I mean? Music is all perspective. Somebody could think fucking Van Halen sucks, but I think they're I think they're the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? But it is good. It's well produced.
Absolutely.
Well written.
So all right, so you touched on the live stream thing, and
Ugh.
during the COVID time, everybody and their mother, musician wise, was getting on and doing these live streams, and they were putting the thing up on the screen. Here's my Cash App. Here's my Venmo. Here's my PayPal. Here's this. What did you think of that then? And what do you think of it now? Because I still see artists doing it.
I think it's shit. Let me put it. No, let me be more graceful than that. Let me be more politically PC about it because we're talking about. I think it's shit. I think it's really, really, really shit. I think the idea of still performing to no one in your now if you're gonna do like a little intimate acoustic thing just to play your songs or something that kind of works because you're not really looking for feedback. You just want to play. It maybe
Right.
you tell a story like this. Hey, this is an acoustic version, this and that. But if you're like acting like you want to perform to people and you just gain it up, I don't dig it. I don't dig it. It's just not my style. I don't like it. That's my opinion. Obviously, everybody has, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So, yeah, man, it just looks stupid. I don't think it's. I don't. Have you seen one that's done well? No. Maybe Metallica, right? Even that
Right.
was still like, come on, dude. There's no one there. Don't act like there's someone there.
Yeah.
I just think it's silly. And you're asking people to pay money. So right away you see that's where it's fucked up. Because if you want to stream for people, great. Like here, subscribe. You can't watch the band. It's all about if someone sees an angle to make money, they're gonna make money. And all these bands that no one knows about that are streaming, this it's still, everybody thinks there's some way to magically connect with a million, zillions of people. It's a very hard thing to do.
Like during the COVID time, I was totally cool with it, and I get it because everybody's livelihood was taken from, especially entertainment artists. So when they were doing it, I was totally cool with that. But I was also saying what you were saying, like you don't have that crowd. It's so hard to do that and not play off a crowd, that energy. But now when I'm still seeing, a year and a half, 2 years out of the pandemic era, and I'm still seeing some artists do it, and it's people who I know personally, and they've been around the block and they've had major label deals and stuff like
Right.
that, and I'm seeing them do it, and they're popping up their cash apps and all that. I cringe, and I just like I lose a little bit of respect for them.
And look, it's like when you see someone play live and you go up to the merch table and you say to them, take a picture with me, and they say to you, I'll take a picture. You got to buy something first.
Yeah, yeah,
That's disrespectful to people, man.
yeah.
To the people that come to see you play, they just want to touch base with you, connect, and you're looking at them like there's someone, you're being an asshole looking at their fucking dollar signs. It's like a bartender, saying hello to you because you just look like a fucking $20 bill. They don't give a
Right,
fuck about you. You know what I mean?
right.
Oh, how the fuck you doing? Oh, it's good to see you again. Man. What's that fucking asshole's name? Yeah, man. Look at my titties. It's like we know what's going on.
Yeah,
It's just it's not cool. What is cool? I don't know, but that's not cool.
yeah.
Whatever cool is, that's not cool.
How about let me ask you this: um, a big market and a big world now, and I've gone to these, and I've actually been guest at these from my wrestling background and career. Is all these conventions? There's comic conventions, there's horror conventions, there's wrestling conventions, and in those worlds, a lot of times, they bring in people from all genres of entertainment, including the music world, and they'll rent out a hotel, and they'll have people stationed all throughout the hotel, and they could have some. I've seen it where it's up to like over 100 guests, and each guest is charging. I've seen from $20 up to $500 for an autograph.
I guess there's a fine line, man. It's like, what's the word? Scruples. You
Yeah,
have scruples. It's what are you willing to do to make a buck? How much are you willing to whore yourself? And just like put like integrity to the side to make a dollar.
mm,
So whatever gives the fans the most respect, and it's mutual, because it has to be give and take.
yeah,
For you to pay me for something, I've got to really give of myself. to you, whatever the fuck it is. So you got to think that way. You can't look at people as dollar signs. I know bands that I was part of something not long ago where they just were just respectful to fans, man. It was weird.
Mm.
The fans come up and say not great things, and they walk away. You guys are fucking asshole. It's like these people came to see you play.
Wow.
And there's people that look at they look at fans like that, and I never call them fans. They're all friends of the band, so it's like you got to be there's respect and integrity involved. If you're in this business now for money, it's not for you. It's not for you.
True.
You'll make enough money to eat and survive and just enjoy this thing. It's very tricky. It's tricky to the big money is there, but you got to really work hard.
This now, I mean, like the era now, the world we're living in now, especially for the music business, you really need to know how to navigate the business part of it more than anything else.
Yeah, just like at bands, even look band members. No one thinks about like when they write a song, split sheets in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I wrote this, which brings me to the whole other topic of like, how do you split with bands? If you're all in the room creating together, just do right down the fucking middle.
Yeah.
And we live in a world where everybody's out for themselves writing credits. Oh man, I wrote this part, it's my song. Well, I'm digressing. Just is integrity involved? Look.
Yeah.
Anything. Back to Bon Jovi touring. Integrity. You want to do the best you can for your audience. Right? You want to sing well. You want to perform well because they paid good money to come see you. If you're in a club, they still paid good money to come see you. Yeah. You got to be aware of that shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's play and it's fun, but in the box, it's very serious business.
Yeah.
So you got to give it respect. You got to treat the people with respect that come to see you. You can't just take the money out of their pockets. It's fucked up.
Let's see. Did
I answer the question?
You absolutely did.
Okay.
Bon Jovi claimed their biggest influences were Springsteen and Van Halen.
That makes sense because Bon Jovi does all the fucking Springsteen shit live. Tries to preach like him and stuff now. Bon Jovi admits that he's a huge Springsteen fan. He's
really turned more and more into him as he's gotten older.
Sure, and you listen to how Sambora plays guitar, and it's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very Bon Jovi had the cool blend for the age. He was perfect. It was perfect. He was cool. He was good looking. They were good looking. It's a lot of formula, man. A lot of perfect melody, the perfect hook at the right time with the perfect video. And then you get like Wanted Dead or Alive, which is a fucking badass song. It's a badass song. And I get the Van Halen, I get the Springsteen thing. I wasn't a Springsteen fan until I saw him live. I was like, I got to see Springsteen play Giant Stadium. Like it was 7 nights in a row or something. That's when I got to meet Clarence too. But
wow,
I'll digress. But I was there and I witnessed I was like, this is gonna blow. And I was like on the side watching that. I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like whatever's happening chemically between this dude and Clarence and the whole band and this Jersey, New York crowd was like some shit I never witnessed before.
Wow.
Just completely.
Yeah, I was never a big Springsteen fan either, but probably about 10 years ago, I caught a live clip of him doing Hungry Heart, and I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah,
I really get it.
That's again, see, they're a great live experience. They don't. Mm-hmm. It's not just song. Thank you, good night.
Yeah,
they entertain the fuck out of people. He connects in a way that all those cats like Springsteen, Bono, there's a level of thing that they do that's beyond explainable.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
that's cool.
That's an awesome thing to watch. That's like, wow. But he blew me away live. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, all right. So speaking of live, we have now seen the last 2 weekends the new Motley Crue. Motley 5 is a thing. It's real. It's happening. And I got to say, I think John 5 has brought Motley Crue. He brought Motley Crue back to life the way Vinnie Vincent brought Kiss back to life.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because the guy was the guy didn't look good strolling around. God bless Mick Mars, man, but new blood is good. Sometimes an infusion is the best thing, of new blood, and
Yeah.
he gave it his blessing. There was no like bad publicity about like fuck this, these guys are. It was all good. The people that love crew music, I love crew music, get to experience it. Not having to look on stage and go, oh, I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We know he's sick. Wait, it's like no, it's like, it's new blood. It's like putting makeup on the band.
Yep.
Putting
Yep.
lipstick on a pig. You're like putting lipstick on a pig, man.
But you can, I mean,
He
they
looks
did
like
two
he's
notes.
happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at me, man. I'm fucking playing with crew. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm Johnny Five. It's like he's like, yeah, man. I love what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, you can even see it though with the other three. You could feel it in just the live clips. You can feel the enthusiasm is back in the music now.
Sure, it makes sense to
And
me.
Vince sounds, he don't sound half bad. He sounds the best I think he's sounded in years.
I'm telling you, when you have done something at a very high level and you step away from doing it at a high level, you don't forget about it. It eats away at you every single day of your life. I don't care who you are. You could be a singer, guitar player, bass player, drummer, keyboardist, painter, whatever kind of art it is. If you did it and you connected with it, it was easy and it came easy to you, then you lose that.
Mhm.
At some point, you're going to battle to get it back. At some point, you don't just lay down and let it pass over anymore. Like, I'm
Right.
going to call it in. I'm going to call it in. At some point, you're going to want to go to work. It's because nobody wants to be remembered for being that guy that just was fucking laying eggs all the time. You
Yeah.
want to be known as like, well, you know what? He came back. He tried. We saw that he was giving all these guys. He knows he's connecting with it again. If he looks happy and he's having a good time and he's joyful,
Hmm.
what else matters besides that? You're there
Yeah.
to connect with people in the first place. You're not there to have a blurry wall in front of you, not enjoy it. I think they're all enjoying it. As you get older, the respect and it's a privilege. I say
Yeah.
this. I say this every show. It's a privilege to even get up in front of people and have them respond to you,
Mhm.
and you got to respect that. So I'm sure maybe I don't know Vince. So maybe he just said to himself, you know what? I'm going to bust my ass for these people, man, because they're coming and they want to see me do well. So I'm going to make it. I'm going to will myself to do well.
Yeah.
You know,
I hope he continues on this path because I mean actually we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Like I felt like seemed like he was trying even on his solo show that I seen clips of, and I was like, oh, all right. But these past 2 weekends now with John in the band, I definitely can see and hear the difference.
well, it's a big responsibility. Can you imagine being one of the biggest bands in the world like that, and you didn't carry that responsibility?
Yeah.
It wouldn't. You would hear about it pretty quick, and it would end quickly. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing about Poison was the greatest band on that bill, but like I told you, that music, anybody can sing that shit in their sleep.
Hmm.
Motley Crue music, you can't sing that in your sleep. There's a lot of notey stuff in there. There's a
Yeah.
lot of soulful stuff in there. So yes, Poison is a great band now. When they first came out, I wasn't a Poison fan.
Hmm.
But I'm like, okay, so they're doing well, but it's easy stuff to sing. You know, Motley Crue, fucking shout at the devil, and it's heady stuff, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking heady stuff.
Hmm. So a news story I just saw came out about 3 hours before we went live. And I could have swore I heard rumors about this last year. The Rolling Stones are doing a new album,
Mhm.
and somebody has played bass on at least one, if not a couple tracks. Sir Paul McCartney.
How cool is that, man? That's like
A-
full circle for the Stones, man, and the Beatles.
And guess who's going to be doing some drum tracks?
Well, Ringo?
Ringo Starr.
That's cool. Did you? Hey, let me digress real quick. Did you see Let There Be Drums?
No,
Oh, it's a great documentary. It's Ringo's in it, and um,
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, actually, Taylor Hawkins is in it a lot. It was maybe one of the last
Okay.
things he did. It's really good. It's called Let There Be Drums. You got to watch it. So I'm a huge Ringo fan. Ringo's just cool, man. He's just cool. It's pretty cool to be Ringo Starr. Even he says that. It's cool to be me.
Peace and love.
That's awesome. I'm a fan of both bands, so that's you're talking about your youth and our DNA. That's in your DNA. If you're in a rock band, you worship the Stones and you worship the Beatles, unless you're an idiot.
Like how, like at this stage of the game, they need to just like do an album. The five of them do a full blown album. How fucking cool would that be?
Yeah, man.
Writing together and recording. Why not?
It makes sense that they hadn't done it before. I would have thought they'd done it before. Come on. Seems like it's like usually it's like Clapton's the one that plays with everybody. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
He's just like, dude, I'll jam here, I'll jam there. He just had that gift. That's awesome, man. I don't know what songs or what. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
The last thing I remember, I downloaded Paul McCartney's. He wrote a cool Valentine's Day song. It's called Valentine. He can do no wrong in my eyes, so it's Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And Ringo Starr can do no wrong. That's awesome. Yeah, if you had told me it was somebody like Terry Bozzio with the Stones, I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy, but that makes sense to me. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It's
That's
totally freaking cool. So all right, so I have two more stories. All right, I'm gonna go this route first, and then I'll save the music business question story for last. So I don't know if you know this band. They've been around for about 10 years now. They're from Sweden, all girl band. They're called Thunder Mother, and they sound like ACDC. They're balls to the wall, fucking rock, straight up rock and roll ACDC style. Like, as a matter of fact, the first time I interviewed the old guitarists, like 7, 8 years ago, I said, "You guys sound like Angus Young and Lemmy had a threesome with somebody, and you guys were the daughters of
that's
that."
cool. That's cool.
That's what they sound like. So now, so what happened 7 years ago was the main guitar player who formed the band um, had a falling out with a couple of the girls and tried to fire them, which in turn the other members said F off and quit. So this girl, her whole band left her. Okay. So she reforms it and gets three new girls. 7 years ago, they were on a label in Sweden. They ended up getting a new label 3 years ago. Once they switched labels to this bigger label, in the last 3 years, like they were getting millions of streams on every song. One of their songs has over 16 million streams. They were getting millions of views on their videos. They just came to America for the first time and they opened for the Scorpions on their arena tour in November, December. And 3 weeks ago, she fired her singer. In turn,
Someone's an asshole.
her bass player and drummer quit and went with the singer. The day after they just got announced to be doing the European tour opening for the Scorpions, she does this.
There's toxic people that get in, that sneak in through the cracks. The business is so small that toxic people get found out. Some of them are insulated because they have lots of money.
Right.
And even though they're toxic, doesn't matter. But who's going to want to be around it? So maybe somebody's just an intolerable asshole. I don't know. I've never heard of the band before. I'm going to check it out. But doesn't matter how well you write, how talented you are. if you're an insufferable prick, people are going to want to work with you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just keep any band that has a rotating staff is not a real band.
Yeah.
Number one, that's those are usually hobbyists,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hobbyists are the people that only do when their day jobs have made them enough money to take a break or something, or guys that have businesses that can step away. The business can run themselves a little bit because now they have time in their schedule to go and play Rockstar.
Right.
So they go and hire, pay the money for the photographer, they pay the money to buy on the rock shows,
Mm-hmm.
right? To buy new lights and smoke machines and make themselves look like great rock stars, but hobbyist, toxic personalities, man. I don't know, man. I don't know the band, but I just, when there's a rotating staff, it leads me to believe there's somebody who's very toxic, and there's probably ego involved. I could be wrong, but I don't know the band. But obviously, if the singer's talented and the singer's gone, and it's not someone is an insufferable asshole.
I'll tell you what, her original singer, uber talented, and she's here in Nashville now, and she wins awards for amazing songwriter, performer here in Nashville constantly. Actually, and she's next in 3 weeks. She's making her debut at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So that's
Yeah.
real shit. So maybe this could be this. There's a million and one different things that could be going on there,
Yeah.
But usually talent will usually rise to the top, and if the talent is usually a good person, they keep the people around with it. If someone's insufferable, then they're out.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a band, you need your band. You need them, unless you're gonna go play some acoustic thing by yourself. But to be in a band, you gotta bond. Everybody has to be like this.
Yeah.
You're in a very tight place together, and you got to make it all work.
It's crazy. I interviewed the singer yesterday, so she was telling me, the scoop and her side of the story and her feelings, and yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it's kind of.
I write it down. What's the name of the band again?
Thunder Mother. I'll send you over the link to.
Oh, okay, I love the name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And dude, I'm telling you, they're a great fucking. But I'm telling you, it's AC/DC.
It's
Amazing.
funny how sometimes only bands from like overseas can come up with cool names like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
what might be corny over here is like very cool over there.
Yeah.
I love Europe.
Crazy. So all right. So the last story I got for tonight. Mike Portnoy, drummer extraordinaire of many bands.
Yeah.
The Winery Dogs just recently put out a new album. They're out doing a tour right now. He did an interview the other day, and he stated this, and this is a topic that I totally agree with, and we never discussed this, and I'm curious to see your thoughts and feelings on this. And the main comment headline was, "You don't need record labels no more. You can just do it all yourself." And the big thing was because the Winery Dogs on their new album, they lost their label, so they decided they formed their own label, and they put it out themselves. And he said, "Look," he said, "as long as you get distribution and you get a good publicist, that's all you need."
It's true. On the lower scale of things, to be like on Warner Brothers or something is cool. Universal, all that shit. But all that money has to be paid back.
Right.
Right. So in the nowadays, with the way social media works, with the way you have access to different things, and you can get to people. The middleman's cut out.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. Middleman is cut out. The only middleman now is things like Spotify, Apple Tunes.
Right.
But now you can get right to the people that matter to you. So you really don't need a label. But it sounds cool to have a label. You know what I mean? It's still like a status symbol. Yeah, man. Well, I'm on Tony Butt Fuck Records. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is that? Well, that's the kid next door created it for me. Whatever. But it's like that's the beauty of the business. That's one of the positive things. You have, instead of like dealing with the middleman to get to the people we want to connect with, now you just get right to the people you want to connect with. The trick is how to do it well. So that's where the business is at. The business right now is, how do I get this song I recorded on my garage band at home to all these people. So I have the SoundCloud.
Hmm.
Like it's the problem is you've got, instead of a couple of thousand bands vying for your attention, you've got
Couple million.
zillions of fucking
Yeah.
bands. So the choice is around us. So everybody is a rock star, right? Anybody that goes into a room and can get 100 bodies in a room,
Hmm.
that's a good day. You know, if you can get 250 in a room, that's a really good day. Gets you started on a good path. So
Yeah.
there's so many different, and now you can data mine like where to go, the analytics of it. Like, okay, people are listening to us in Kansas City,
Hmm.
or they're not listening to us in Wisconsin over here, in this town. You can go and look at the data, and
Right.
you know where to put your media attention to, where to go
Hmm.
play a show at. And it all kind of works that way, instead of like the old school day where you just get a circuit, get on it, and you build and build and
And
build
go.
towards
Yeah.
through MTV. Now, because MTV is a thing of the past, now we have this. It's a much different business. Everybody who was on MTV for their 15 minutes has a career in the now,
Hmm.
right? It's all the bands that are just underneath that didn't get heavy rotation, but they were great bands. Those guys are all doing what they're doing now. As Spread Eagle, now we're using social media. Now we're, now we're playing, because I
Right.
think Spread Eagle music is timeless, so it's not really genreified. Um, you don't need the label, especially if you kind of have a name. If you're Mike Portnoy and people kind of know who you are,
Hmm.
you don't need a label. But if a label is going to throw you lots and lots and lots of fucking money, you might think about it. It's because labels aren't handing out deals anymore like they're hotcakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anymore, unless you're like 14, 15 years old and you're doing K-pop or some shit.
Yeah, labels are handing out. If they're handing you a deal, they're also taking back a lot of money off your tour and everything else, your merchandise.
That was the joke of the past. People don't realize musicians are out there touring, and the song was out there, it's getting played, but they weren't making any money,
Hmm.
because to sign that deal, you gave up, your left nut to the label, and to sign the second page, you had to give up your right nut to the label. What are you left with? Nothing. So
Hmm.
all I have are my balls and my word. That's it.
So let me ask you your personal opinion now. Um, I'm going to ask. It's a two-part question. The first part would be from a spread eagle standpoint of view. Like the last album you guys did was on Frontiers, correct?
Correct.
So would you rather go that route again and be like on a Frontiers or somebody like that, or would you rather have Spread Eagle do it yourselves and handle it yourselves this time?
If we could do it ourselves, which I would always love. I think to be independent is the coolest fucking thing, because
Mm,
if you can do that in the now, you're good.
yeah.
The thing about having a label that usually works in your favor, if you're not social savvy, you know, and you don't know anything about marketing, that's what labels usually do well. They're able to
Right.
market you and blast you to
Hmm.
places you couldn't do it yourself.
Yeah.
But if you are willing to learn how the business operates now, you know what I mean? You can get away with doing it on your own,
Mm,
But sometimes you need a label. You just do, because they can get more done quickly.
right.
So it's like it's either or. So there's the label school mentality, and there's the independent mentality. And so many of my friends are independent.
Yeah.
They just don't want to get laid down to a label. So it's like that.
Sure. And how about you for solo stuff that you'd be working on? Which would you
Not
prefer to do?
so I'm not a rich man. So it's like the money I have to spend wisely. I have to budget
Yeah.
everything I do. I'm well, but I'm not like, ooh. So it's like, let's say, for the re-release, I'd rather have, use a label for re-release.
Hmm.
I have like Sunset on Boulevard Records, but I didn't use it for a long time, because once I was working on my solo shit, I got sidetracked by something else. I never gave my solo stuff the time that it needed.
Right.
So now we're looking at, it's a lot of it is, the songs were done like a decade ago. So now it's all remixed and repackaged as Superfly. So now it's like, what do we do with it? I would like to put it out on a very small label,
Right.
but there's also, you can go to TuneCore. You can get lots of hits by doing all kinds of shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm at a point in my life though. I would like to have a small label access.
Mm.
You know, I think it's a good thing for me. That suits me for what I want to do for re-release.
Sure.
If I'm looking for a deal, I would look for great distribution, and that's what I
Mhm.
would do. I would just try to get a distribution deal. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally.
But that's where it's at. It's all about who can market you
Hmm.
and who can distribute your wares and not go into your pocket and take everything you have. So now you have a lot more say in things. So you can partner up with people. You can even do
Hmm.
co-op deals. Some the guys with money, they do co-op deals, which means that they will sign with the label, and the label will say, well, we're going to give you this much money, and or we'll match whatever you have. So it's two schools of thought. I'd much rather stay independent. I think if you have good people running that know marketing and know how to work social media, you can be successful.
I agree. I think that's in this day and age, that's what it entirely comes down to.
But there's the old school mentality where people still want to be tied to labels. It just sounds cool to them. Yeah. I mean, you look at a label like Frontiers. Frontiers signs like a zillion fucking bands.
Yeah.
It's tricky business.
I was just saying that yesterday to the girl Guernica from that was in Thunder Mother because they already, it's 10 days later from getting fired and they were meeting yesterday with multiple labels. So and that's the route they want to go.
Shit.
And I said to her, I was like, you have people like Frontiers, which I love what Frontiers does to a point, but they put out cool stuff like when they do like a spread eagle or something like that. That's freaking awesome that they're giving bands like you guys their just due, but
Right.
then they're like doing 20 other bands a week.
You're like, what are they doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like, uh, if you have money or can get sponsored somehow, whether that's GoFundMe, whatever it takes, um, that's a smart move.
yeah,
Because if you don't have the money, you're going to have to go to some kind of label, somebody that does it better than you, that has
yeah.
access. A
Hmm.
lot of things take cash. Money makes it makes things move around.
Yeah,
So you need to have that. You need to have some flow of income like that, and that's where labels come in, whether they're small labels or whatever. You know, I'm just a singer and rock band. I don't know how to fucking market well. I talk a lot. I can talk a lot of shit. Um, I'm pretty good at making you think I know what I'm talking about sometimes, but everybody knows I don't know what I'm talking about. But I like the idea of a strong marketing department and people that are great with social media and that can get you spidered out. That know everything about how to. And if we make a video this way, we put it on this. It goes that. It does that. And does that. And that. And that's
I was going to say that too. I think that is also, and I kept drilling that into my boys in Rat Rod, that I think is vitally important because actually, and Mark will probably one of the guys. He always watches the show and he'll call me the next day and thank me for mentioning them. But before they did their last album, the bass player called me up and they were contemplating having I forget who it was, but somebody mix a couple songs on their new album, but they wanted like 1,500 a song. I said, if you pay this fucking guy $1,500 a song, I'm gonna come beat your ass. I said, take the $1,500 and get a publicist because nobody's going to hear those freaking songs that you paid a few $1,000s for without the publicist. You need the publicist before you can.
well, like I said. See, you need money. You need money. No matter what, you need money. Like I
Yeah,
said, there's people that have 30 grand to just throw, and then they buy onto tours and they make it look like they put on a rock star show.
yeah.
It's a grand illusion. And then there's the guys that are fucking they just don't have the money that are trying to make shit work. It's a
Hmm.
very, very tricky business. So whatever you can do, whatever works best for you. If you have money, you do it independently. If you don't have money, you need to find people that are savvy and know how to work the angles of social media.
Absolutely.
That's it. Do you need Interscope? Well, it doesn't exist for like a lot of rock and roll bands anymore.
Hmm. No.
What we do is very underground now, which I preach to everybody. This the Grammy Award says it all. The Grandma Awards, right? It's all pop culture, country,
Yeah.
hip hop. Look, I love hip hop. I love some country. I love some pop. I'm not crazy. I like good music. If it's good, I like it. But
Hmm.
this whole thing about just like all of a sudden you don't there's no rock to it.
Yeah.
There's no rock and roll to it. Rock and roll is this underground thing that now has to be, revamped and repackaged to it. When you, I believe with School of Rock and watching kids learn organic instruments, there's still hope. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of hope for the future of rock and roll.
Isn't it crazy though that like two of the biggest modern era pop stars are both doing rock music? Miley Cyrus and Demi Lovato.
Because we're getting the cyclical part of this is, even though it used to run in 3-year cycles. Now the business it's changed, so something's going to come around again because things are too soft, right? Everybody's sensitive. We live in this PC cancel culture bullshit. Someone's going to come up from the ashes and say "fuck you." They're going to drop their balls on the table, and they're going to be like, "This is how it's done." The next Guns N' Roses, like, where is it?
Yeah.
Who's gonna come and just be like, "Fuck you." This is what it is. This is like the angry underground shit that needs to happen, and that just hasn't happened yet. It's happened in different avenues. Punk is considered, if the new. Remember when they were doing like Dead Mouse and stuff like that was like punk.
Yeah.
But as far as like real rock and roll attitude, when they've all gotten too soft, they all want to create a harder rock. Everybody wants to be rock and roll.
That's the thing, like, and I've been saying this for years. I think that's the whole reason why rock and roll is not out in the forefront no more, because it's not dangerous. The whole point of rock and roll was danger and controversy, and your parents don't want to hear it. Now it's hip hop's dangerous
because they're making kids soft, man. When you have information at your hands and you know everything, you feel secure. So who's going to shake it up? I don't know. I feel like, even though we're on the up and coming again, like we're working hard, I feel like we're on this mission. And the mission is to be loud and to be heard. Loud enough so people know we exist. And I'm not just talking about the rock band thing. I'm talking about the idea of rock and roll, the culture of it. When you see people gather in the club, which I still see, I have faith in, I'm always blown away by the fact that there's a younger audience now for us. Which blows my fucking mind. On the other night playing the kid that was off to the stage right, and this girl, like they were in their early 20s. They're like kids, man. And I was lifted by that. But I guess for the people that are on big stages all the time, maybe they take it for granted. So when you get to go back to the clubs, it's really humbling. But I truly believe that rock and roll is underground in a sense, and it's just not. It needs to punch through the wall. And the way hip hop was dangerous, and the way that came through, and through all that happening with MTV, Guns N' Roses still cut through.
Yeah.
Because but they also had some pretty songs, some pretty ballads, too, to get through there. So it wasn't just like we're fucking dangerous, November Rain. They had everything. So image was a big thing, and people don't realize there was a lot of image involved in that too. They didn't just it's like, so yeah, rock and roll needs to be dangerous again. That's why the old guard is so important, because the old guard still knows what it's like to have that feeling, that high energy fucking just hit the fucking room with attitude.
See, this it's funny because before we go live, we're like, all right, we're gonna like try to keep it short and all, and then we just start talking, and my brain starts spider webbing everywhere. For you, because I mean, you guys were, and I'm sure everybody knows this, you guys were like the East Coast answer to Guns N' Roses. So now, 30 years later, do you could you even picture somebody like a Guns N' Roses or a Spread Eagle, like that dangerous style of rock and roll? Can you picture like looking at it now at your age, at some young 20 somethings trying to do that? Wouldn't you almost look at it and be like, you're being foolish?
No, man, that's where I'm still hopeful. That's where I'm positive. When I see a band, like, man, when I saw fucking Rival Sons, Oh, I was like, there's hope. There is hope for this fucking genre of hard rock and roll. That band blew my fucking doors off. But I hope that some kids come along to scare the piss out of everybody.
Hmm.
They're gonna come along. I don't think it'll be hard rock to me is all one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Hmm.
our genres. There's the ka-chunk, rock. There's the
Hmm.
fucking Slipknots and all that. Someone's just going to come across with the attitude. They're going to be heavy. They're going to be aggressive, but they're also going to be melodic. But they're going to have
Hmm.
cool swagger and not be assholes about it.
That's what's that word is what's missing. Is this? Nobody's got the rock and roll swagger.
Swagger. So that you got to rock and rolls, and it's about swinging it, man. You uh,
See, that's the
without
thing.
being an asshole. You feel me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Absolutely.
can be cool and have an attitude and have swagger, and not be a dickhead about it.
Hmm. I think in the last 10, 15, 20 years, there's been such amazing music come out from so many bands, but no swagger. Great music,
See what happens.
amazing musicians. I think musicians today are so far advanced from 20, 30 years ago. I think the tech, of course, we know the technology and the songwriting. I think everything is just so far advanced, but it's all going backwards and no swagger.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come along. I think there's gonna be that kid, there's gonna be the one that's gonna come along, and it's gonna be magical. I have faith. I have faith. Rock and roll truly is my religion. You know,
Yeah.
I say to everyone, these are our songs. Songs are our prayers. Someone's gonna come along and be the one.
So Kim
Oh
Marie,
yeah.
she said,
Oh shit.
Captain Douchebag Hair Plug.
Her and I have a mutual person we like to goof on because like I said, there's dudes that are hobbyists. There's these dudes that I know. How do we put it? If you got money in your pocket, he's fucking too funny, man. I can't believe she wrote that because there's people, right? And let's say you have some money and you're balding, and there's guys that they don't look like they do normally, so they go
Yeah.
and get hair plugs and all that shit, and they go out there and they're like, oh my god, I gotta do a rock show, and I'm gonna get my money, I'm gonna make a band happen, but I'm gonna put hair on my head. I'm gonna fucking buy cool clothes off of fucking Star War, where the fuck it's called, Warren Star, and buy that shit off the rack. And
Star
every
Wars.
anybody can be a rock star. It's just
There goes our
anybody.
sponsorship for Warnstar now.
But I'm just saying anybody can be a rock star if you've got some money in your pocket and you could put a band together, pay them to be together, get good songwriters under your belt, take credit for it. It's like there's a lot that goes on that people don't see, but in this business, there are purists and there are hobbyists. So that's what we have a friend of ours that's a hobbyist, and we're
I,
goofing on him.
I probably shouldn't even say this, but like about like Warnstar and there's a couple other clothing brands out there like that, and they make
Oh,
cool clothes. And
right.
I'm not ragging on the clothes, but the part I'm gonna rag on is so many fucking bands get their clothes from there, and everybody looks the same.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's a hobbyist
Yeah.
because everybody knows if you can take what you got in your closet,
Hmm.
right? If you can step off the street and walk onto the stage. That's fucking cool, right? That's your everyday fucking getup. But there's these dudes, they don't feel comfortable, so they got to
Hmm.
get their shit online. Now the problem is, you bought something off of that, so you're
Yeah.
wearing it. Now the guy on stage in front of you, watching your band,
Is wearing it.
also is wearing the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
So who's the rock star? Who's playing rock star? Who's the hobbyist? Right? Whatever it takes you to feel good about yourself, go fucking do your thing. Just don't be an
Yeah.
asshole to people about it. Be honest. Don't be a hobbyist. Be in this for real. This is a really small business, and everybody knows your blemishes, your faults, and who you are. When you don't think they know who you
Absolutely.
are, they do. I
Oh, they
know. I
know.
know guys that got such bad reputations; they're blacklisted. because they're just asshole hobbyists, you know,
Right.
and they're not going to be let into the party. That's all there is to it.
All right, so Tony says, Appetite for Destruction album art was insane to me back in '88. The rough chick looking beat with her panties at her ankles in a CD setting, rock and roll danger for the kids.
See, now you can't even do that anymore.
No.
You see, because we live in this PC bullshit. But who's going to break it? Who's going to fucking break through this bullshit? It's going to take all of us. You know, we all have to change people's mentalities again. Because somehow people got soft. I don't know where they come from. How the fuck does this shit happen where people are like want other people to think the way they do and
Yeah.
speak the way they do instead of just letting them live and let live? I don't understand. I don't understand how it happens. People are it's all about coming from fucked up parents.
Yeah.
If your parents are fucked up, you're going to be fucked up.
Mhm.
If your parents were cool, you're going to be somewhat cool and fucked up.
No matter- the fucked up part is always going to be touching you at some point in life.
They go together. Love and hate go together.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what, good and bad go together. But love and hate, that's a big one. You know, and you love something so much, you're going to find something about it that's going to tick you off, man. But I love rock and roll. I love everything about it. I still believe in it, which is why I still do it. And I do it with more of a passion now than I ever did before because, you know, I'm older. I appreciate it more, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to be at this part of my life still doing this or trying to do it again. No, but somewhere in me was like just feeding it, still feeding it.
Yeah.
And here we are, man. We're talking shop. Rock and roll is on its upcomings. I believe it because I'm out there and I see people. I listen to people. We have these great conversations, man. And people are just like, well, first of all, with our band, it's funny because some people say shit like, yo, man, you were on my bucket list. I never thought I was going to see Spread Eagle live. And that cracks me up. I'm like, really, man? It's like, well, I never thought you were going to see us live either. You know? And here we are. So we're just lucky, man. We live in a time where anything can happen. We live in a very strange time. Look at the news all the past week. Things are going to hell. There's fucking still people doing mass shootings. I don't get it. Biden goes to Ukraine. God bless him. That's cool. He's got balls doing that shit. And it's been a weird week. Politics is weird. Life is weird. Gas prices are up. Everything's up. We live in a weird time. But rock and roll still is a great escape for people. You know, the people that don't know about it, fuck them. It's our secret then. Don't come to the party. We don't need you. You know what I mean? Locked out.
Kim Marie said, just say, hey.
Hey, I God love her. She's a trooper. She's a warrior, man. Oh, now people are writing in. We're signing off. They're gonna people write in.
Yeah, right. And Tony said, album art was a fascination for me. Could not wait to rip the plastic off that vinyl back in the day. Things are not just the same anymore with the PC horseshit.
Oh yeah, the reason I couldn't wait to rip off the plastic on my like double albums was obviously I could unfold them and roll my weed up in that motherfucker. Acapulco Gold on Kiss Alive 2.
There you go.
Perfect, bro.
That was, you know, Kiss Alive 2 was actually my first Kiss album.
Yeah, a friend of mine had the first one, so I didn't need to buy it because he always had it. His kid named Steve Collins, and I think that and listen to Bowie Fame somewhere when I was really young really fucked with my head. That changed like the Fame and then the Kiss Alive record. And then when Kiss Live 2 came out, I think I saw them on that tour. So for me, it was like a huge deal. I was like, oh my God, we went to the place called the Hollywood Sportatorium down here in Fort Lauderdale, and blew my fucking mind, man. It ruined my life. But
you know what the music artist that ruined my life, that put me down this whole world of rock and roll? Fucking Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like look, that was the time we were kids, man. And his thing was he did the Do Run Run Run.
Yeah,
he did a version of that.
That was my first album. Was the Do Run Run.
Well, you had that when we were kids. You had that. You had David Cassidy and the Partridge Family. There was the Osmonds were doing this thing in the afternoon. The Jacksons were doing this thing in the afternoon. It was just a different. Our I sound like that fucking guy. Our generation of people, they're the best rock and roll ever. It's like it's in our blood. It's in our DNA to love this music, to love the culture about it, you know. So yeah,
So
yeah.
true.
I think we're good here.
Yeah. All right. Before we keep going on and on, everybody, Spread Eagle, go check them out at Spread Eagle NYC. You can follow them all over social media. They'll be back in action in April. And the Subway to the Star tours continues, and they're going to be coming to a town near you, most likely.
Right, and now we're in the process of writing, so we're going to finish this record and get it done. And it's important to get this fourth record done, especially for us where we're at in our uh, our place in the rock and roll culture that is. I think it's
Hmm.
important to get this fourth record done because it's going to do a lot for us. We need to be out there and be competitive, and we need to get people out of the house. You
Yeah.
know, so and here's my thing too. A lot of bands place their gigs on doing their old stuff all the time. I
Mm.
don't. I'm not a believer in that. I do like to play what people want from the old stuff. That's important because
Sure.
it's who you are. It's important to evolve. You know what I dig now is seeing people react to Subway to the Stars songs
Hmm.
because there's some stuff that's on there that just it blows their minds live. They're like, whoa, you know, it's like who the fuck are these guys? And we
Yeah.
still do play to rooms that don't know who the fuck we are, which is a beautiful thing because you get people coming, go, I didn't know who the fuck you guys were, man. You know,
Mm.
when you only took like 30 years off, they're like, we didn't know who you were, but it's like, where can I get it? Where's the merch table? It's like I love that. I love that. You know,
Awesome.
that's why we do this. I think is to really just affect people in that cool way. That's that's a buzz. That's the ongoing buzz. So I want to get this new record done. I want to have new music because I think we're fucking good at it, and it's important.
Absolutely. And maybe one day I can cross you guys off my bucket list and finally see Spread Eagle live too.
Yeah, dude. You know, we're trying. We're trying to get everywhere. You know, like I said, we every time we, especially this year, we're trying to get people to get out of the house and into the rooms, not
Mm.
just to M3 and this and that. You know, if there's great little pockets of rock scenes all over this country. We were in Texas. Texas is fucking incredible.
Mm.
You know, Georgia is incredible. But doing Jersey, that we just got out of Jersey, New York City, always fucking people just show up and
Yeah.
represent. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. So let's all get out there. I really push people to get out of the fucking house. If you like a band, don't just watch the video. Go see the band live. Go to the room because that's where the experience is. That's the shit where you're like, wow, last night was incredible.
You realize, like we talked numerous times in here about how important marketing is. That's your marketing campaign. Get out of the
That's it.
house.
That's it. Get out of the house, man. Go do something. Rock.
That's it. You just made a T-shirt.
Out.
You just made a T-shirt. How
Thank
about that?
Thank
Uh,
you.
on that note, you know who the
Right.
fuck Ray West is? The guy next to me. He's a
Cool.
beautiful person. I love you, brother.
Love
Until
you, man.
next week, we'll
All
be
right, man.
back.
Bye, guys. Later. Bye, Kimmy.